Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good afternoon. My name is Matt. Welcome to the Global Changes webinar. Now, I'm a new voice for you all, hopefully a welcome voice at that. After the session, there will be feedback forms, so if you could, please complete one just to give me some information on sessions moving forward, what you liked, what you didn't like, etc. That would be absolutely wonderful. Now, as well as my voice, today we are joined by Jackie, the wonderful Jackie. So if you do have any questions, please fire them across. I will try and answer them myself. If I cannot, then Jackie will pick them up for me. Any questions that remain unanswered, we'll catch up with you after the webinar has finished. So please don't be shy, ask away, ask away. So today, what are we going to be looking at? Well, as you probably guessed from the first slide and what I've told you, global changes. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at global changes in a wee bit more detail, an introduction to it and its capabilities. Some of you may have used this before, so maybe using it now, just want a refresher. Some of you may never used it at all, completely new to global changes. So first we'll tackle what it is and what its capabilities are, and then we'll move into a demonstration and where I'll be showing you how and where to access the Global Changes Wizard, and moving on to using some of its functionality. In the demonstrations, I'm going to be looking at increasing credit limits and reducing the cost of product records simultaneously, all at once. After that, we'll have a glance at upcoming webinars, and also I'll point you in the direction of some of the helpful resources that we have on offer for you all. If you've been here before, you'll know the rules. If you haven't, then here are the rules. So your microphones are automatically muted. So if you need to cough, sneeze, or tell Tiddles the cat to jump off the desk, don't worry, we'll not hear you at all. There's a message icon there. That's for you to submit your questions to us. Again, with Jackie here, please fire away all your questions. I'll try and pick them up as well. But there's no silly questions. The only silly question is one that you haven't asked. So please, please, please bear that in mind. There's also a handout preloaded. Download that now if you can. It's a quick click. That's going to be a copy of the slides with clickable links to the useful resources. It's going to be available throughout the webinar, which could last up to 35 minutes. Estimate around about 20 to 35. So not a long session today for us all, but a nice quick session for you to all to enjoy and hopefully get something out of at the end of it. So without further ado, let's dive in to global changes. Global changes, now what exactly is it? And now global changes is a wizard tool within Sage 50 accounts and all variants, and it's where you can make amendments to certain types of records simultaneously, all at once, saving you precious time, precious effort. These are two things that you cannot buy, unfortunately, is time and effort. And Sage is designed to save you those two things. This wizard is part of that makeup. What else can you do? Well, you can view the changes that you're about to make before accepting them and posting them. Very important. I think that's important because it gives you the confidence. I'm going to make this change. Is it correct? Yes, it's correct. Brilliant. I will post it then. So it gives you the confidence in the changes that you're making. Also, we're going to be showing you how easily accessible it is. Quite literally, 2 clicks can get you into this time-saving tool altogether. What can be adjusted? Now, as that picture might have shown you on the last slide, I might have alluded to, global changes is used for what you can see in front of you for the following. You can change your credit limits for suppliers and customers. Around about certain times of year, you might want to encourage them to spend more, and therefore increasing their credit limit so they can bulk buy. You can also change their turnover year-to-date figure en masse if needed. With products, it's a bit more expansive, so you can do things like change the sale price or purchase price. Again, this could tie into seasonal or clearance of items. If you've got too much of X, Y, or Z, or you're stopping selling it, you might want to just reduce everything down just to get it out the door. In professional and standard as well, you've got the ability to change your stock, reorder levels, quantities, and quite brilliantly, in my opinion, I think custom discounts as well. This could tie in to seasonal discounts or volume discounts for a group of selected customers or products, essentially. So in the demonstration that we're going to be looking at, we're going to be focusing on 2 of the areas mentioned in front of you here. We're going to be looking at credit limit changes and product discounting. First, I'm going to show you exactly where the global changes tool is. So without further pause, here is my Sage 50 accounts. Now, when you're in Sage 50 accounts, what you would do, and I did say 2 clicks of a button, you would travel up to the top of your screen, click on Tools, and there we have it, Global Changes. Once you've clicked on Global Changes, it's going to open the Global Changes window. Now, before we go any further, because we're going to be making changes to potentially a lot of records at once, I would always suggest taking a backup. Even though Sage will prompt you, are you sure you want to make these changes? Let's just say human error occurs and you do a misclick. It's easier to restore back to a backup than it is to unpick individual things that you need to change. So always take a backup. The other fantastic option built into Sage now in version 30 and into 31 is exporting your live data into practice mode. So you would click on File, Restore into Practice. What this does is it takes your live data as you see it now and puts it into a kind of sandbox environment where you can make changes willy-nilly whenever you want to whatever you want with no effect on your live data. So you can make changes and see how they will affect your actual data. Today, as you can see in the top of the screen here, I'm in demonstration data. But they're the 2 things I would recommend. Number 1, backup, always back up your data before making any changes. Number 2, practice it so you get used to the process itself. As I say, the first thing that we're going to be looking at though is we're going to be looking at credit limits. So to explain this screen that you see in front of you a wee bit, we've got the left-hand side, the journey that you'll follow with the wizard, and we've got the record type that you want to change here. So I will select customer credit limits. I will then click next. This takes us on to part 2 of the journey, and this is where I will select the customers that I want to increase. Now let's say I've made a business decision. It's been verified by the finance department. Because we're approaching a particular type of season, we want everybody to have increased credit limits who fit in a certain bracket. And what they've said to me is A1 Designs, Bob's Building Supplies, and Fred Bryant all qualify for an increase in credit limit. Superb. Let's make that change reflected in Sage 50. So I would select 3. I would then click next, and you'll see we're entered into part 3 of the journey. And this is where you can get as complex or as standard as you like. So what I want to do here is the type of change. With their current credit limit, I get to decide, am I going to add? So I could add £50 to their current. I could subtract £50. I could times their current by a certain amount, divide, increase, or decrease by percentage. I could also forgo all of this and just give a figure to Sage, and that will update each and every individual record at once with that information. So let's say my finance department have said, Matt, increase by 25%, because that's what they qualify for, and it's a good business decision to make. So I will input 25%. I will then check this. So this is your pennies and pence. You've got 0 decimal places, it'll just round up to the nearest pound, 1/10 of a pound, and then into the pennies there. So I'll double check all of this is correct and I'm happy with it. Yep, it did say 25%. I will then click next to review the changes I'm making. As you can see, the existing value, everybody was on 2,000, and they have now increased by 25% to 2,500. I can do one of 2 things here. I can say, hang on a minute, I'm actually not too happy with that, and I don't really want to be thinking about percentages. The finance department have said I can make it 3,000. So what I would do is I would just tell Sage, yes, actually, we're going to give them credit limit 3,000. Click next. As you can see, it's changed. I've just told Sage what to do there rather than giving it a percentage. I've just given it the figure. Now I'm happy. Now I'm happy that these 3 customers are going to have an increased credit limit of 3,000. I have options. I can print these changes and keep them for record. I can send it to Excel, maybe save that Excel spreadsheet and email it to the finance department and say, look, these are the changes that have been made, makes it affirmative. I can do either of those things. And I can click post. Post is saying, yes, I'm happy. These changes need to be made. Now, interestingly, it says these changes cannot be reversed. Are you sure you wish to continue? I'm very happy with the changes that I've made. I'm happy that they can't be reversed. I'm going to click yes. It was that simple, that easy. Now, although that did say these changes cannot be reversed, it is correct because the action you're performing cannot be reversed. But come the end of the festive season, if I wanted to take them back down to £2,000, remember, I would do the same process. So credit limits, select the customers, click next, give a figure, down to 2,000. Look at the changes, and there we have it. The existing value for the festive season was 3,000. I've now moved it back down in January to 2,000. Again, print, send to Excel, or post. These changes cannot be reversed. Are you sure you wish to continue? I'm sure. And if we want to double check, not that we should have to, but just in case, we can click on the customer in customers on the left-hand side. We can click on edit, look at credit control, and there we have it there. Credit limit is back to 2,000. Superb. So essentially, that is the credit limit option. And that is what you should use if you wish to change the credit limit. Now, let me just minimize that screen there. And this is what we've done. So the changes that can be applied is we can add an amount. So we could add £500, 50 quid, it's up to you. We could subtract, multiply or divide by the amount. We could increase or decrease the percentage. With this one, what I would look at is if you increase by a certain percentage, remember if you increase by 25%, the number is now larger. So if you decrease by 25% in January, it's going to be a different figure. Not to go into a maths lesson or anything, but as a technician that did catch a few people out, we did get a couple of phone calls around it. So just to be wary of that one in itself. So we have a question in there just while I was on that. Is there a limit to how many customers I can select? There is not. As long as they exist in Sage, then you are absolutely fine. So thank you for your question, Sue. Moving on to the next part of the demonstration then. So what are we going to look at next? Well, we are going to be looking at discounting products. Again, this could tie in with the festive season or end of line, completely up to you. So here we have it. Again, guess where we're going to go? I'm going to go to Tools. I'm going to click on Global Changes. This time, I'm going to click on Product Sales Price. Now, what you'll notice when I click Next and we go to section 2 of the journey is I've got two selections here. I've got Item and Category. So no customers' names. This is obviously everything that I'm dealing with. Now, let's just say, for an example, I'm going to stop selling paper products because everybody's going digital and I've got a lot of paper products that I need to get rid of. If I have categorized my products within Sage, then what I would do is I would select on category. Now, if you don't know how to do this, we do have information at sage.co.uk/help, or also separate webinars on how to control your stock and categorize them. But let's say we have, if I'm in item, I would have to scroll through every single item here and say, right, okay, paper product, paper product. If I've already categorized them, category, paper products. There we are. Nice and easy. So in this example, again, remember, I'm not going to be selling paper anymore. Every world's going more digital, so I'm just going to reduce some selected items. I would then click Next into section 3 of the journey. Same options apply. Subtract, multiply, divide, increase, decrease, give figure. Now, again, this is completely down to you, but I wouldn't see the sense in saying, I'm going to give a figure here. I'm going to make everything £1. Because if I do that, click Next, everything, regardless of its original cost, is now going to go down to £1. So the finance department have said to me, Matt, half everything, 50% off on all paper products. So there we are, decreased by percentage. This could also be end of seasonal line. So in January, if you've got any stock that you want to get rid of, mark it down and you can reflect those changes in Sage. Again, if you leave the decimal places, it's also going to take the pounds and pence into consideration. Once we click next, you can now see 225 is down to 113. It's rounding up to the nearest penny. So what it's done, it has halved the cost of all my paper products. Now this is where Print and Send to Excel could really benefit you, because you can click Print, Send to Excel, and you can send that document out via email or letter, either or, to your customer base and say, look everybody, we're getting rid of all paper products. We know that you're going to be interested. It's going to be 50% off. This is what it was. This is what it is. These are the products that are affected. So again, you can use this as a tool in order to increase sales and get rid of this stock as fast as you possibly can. So, are we happy with the changes? We know that they can't be reversed. Are you sure we can continue? Yes, we absolutely are sure. So what did we look at there? There, we looked at discounting products. So the changes can be applied, product sales, product purchase. You've also got your product reorder levels, product quantity, and customizable discounts. I'm going to do a quick glance at this one for you. It's not a very popular area of the program. I think it's underused, but again, it's all what's applicable to you and your business. But I'm going to quickly go over that as part of the demo now. So let's bring back my Sage 50 accounts. Now, a couple of things we need to know when we're accessing global changes here is on standard and professional, you've got these customizable discount options. In order to use them in global changes, they have to be already set up on your products. Okay, so let's have a look at that now. So if I go to settings, product defaults, wish to continue, it will bring up this box here, product defaults. Now I click on descriptions. You can see from global changes, if you remember the discount A, B, C, D, E, I've changed my top one here to quantity discount because that's the change I want to affect in my global changes wizard. So that's what I have there. So I've already made that change. It was discount A, it's now quantity discount. So I click OK. Then I'll head over to products and services. And for example, I'll pick on these two here. So I would click on edit. I'll click on discount. And I'm going to say that for every 100 somebody buys, they get a 10% discount. So it was 20 pounds, it's now down to 18. I'm happy with that. Is it the same for whiteboards? Let's have a look. And if by magic, it absolutely is. So reduce quantity, discount down to 19.80. There we are. So we click save on that. So we're happy. I have now set these two up to be affected in global changes. Now what I will do also is click on tools, select my quantity discount, and I'm going to say this time what I want to do, select the whiteboards here. What I want to do is I want to make sure that it's actually every 50 now they'll get that discount. Every 50 to encourage them to buy 100 at a greater price, at a lower price. Greater for me, obviously, because I'll be selling more. Click next, and there's the changes there from quantity from 100 down to 50. Post those changes, can't be reversed there. So that's a quick glimpse into the customizable discounts that you can do. I'm going to switch back to my screens here now. Back to the slides. There we go. So rather quick demos for you there. It's a very easy tool to use, very easily accessible. While we're on the accessibility, we do have time. I'm going to actually quickly show you. I'm going to go a bit ad hoc here. And I'm going to quickly show you how to access it. So I can access it because I'm logged in as manager. And we all know manager can do anything. Got the power to see everything and change anything. But let's say we have a member of staff who is in charge of pricing and they're set up as a user. We want to make sure that they can access this tool. So when we're logged in as manager, we would click on settings, scroll down to user management, across to users. and we want to continue. I'm going to set up a new user for this. So I'm going to set up a standard user, and I'm going to say it is for Michael. Just need a password. We're not going to go into that. This is where we need to be. So if you have an existing user or a new user, we need to be in level of access. Now you can remember Global Changes was under tools, so we want to find tools in this option. There it is there. And there is Global Changes, just hidden under the sub menu of tools. So as long as there is a tick in that box, when Michael logs in, he'll be able to access Global Changes and affect the changes that I want him to make. Any other kind of permissions is up to you, but specifically for Global Changes, that is where you would get it. Just click Continue and Save. Done. So he has partial access, and that partial access, part of it, is for the Global Changes. So there we have it. How easy is that? Very quick and easy. Very quick and easy indeed. So in summary, what have we looked at today? Well, we've looked at, again, not to be repetitive, but tools and Global Changes, how quickly and easily accessible it is, and also how to access it, different user levels. We've looked at how you can change your records quickly and effectively for a couple of different scenarios. The scenarios I've given you may not be the ones that reflect your real life, but if you just apply those methods to your real life, you'll be able to make the same changes when and how you want. The reason that we've done that is it saves you time and effort. Instead of clicking through hundreds of customers and adjusting their credit limits, hundreds of products and reducing them, do it all in one go. All in one go. So we did have a question from Sue earlier. I believe there has been a couple more. Let me just have a quick look and see if I can pick those up now. Okay, so Sue also asked, can I use Global Changes to change my payment terms? Well, Sue, you cannot. You can use batch changes to do that. Global Changes and batch changes do have a bit of a crossover, a bit of a Venn diagram, some things you can do in both. What I would suggest is, again, sage.co.uk/help, type in batch changes there, or watch the standalone webinar that we've got on it, just as informative as this one, and it'll give you the clear differences between the two. We'll look here. Superb. Any other questions? Can we use Global Changes to change the values back? Well, yes, we can, as I showed there. So in December, we reduced the cost of some product. We increased some credit limits, and then in January, we put them back down again. So as I said, it does say this cannot be reversed, but that's the action that can't be reversed that you're just about to do. You can then later counteract that action by reprocessing it again. So have no fear on that one at all. Excellent. Let's have a quick look here. I believe maybe all the questions that we have. Oh, another one just came in there. What is reorder quantity? Well, reorder of quantity is the level in which your stock gets down to before you trigger an automatic reorder, and that can also be affected within Sage. So if you say, oh, when we get down to 100 pens, I want it to order 1,000 more in batch changes, you could say, right, I want to change that now. As soon as we get down to 1,000 pens, I want to order 1,000 more on top of that. So that's another quick and easy change that you can make. While I'm waiting for other questions to come in, just to move on to the additional resources that we're going to be sending out to you. So there is a clickable link to the Global Changes article, and there's also a clickable link to the Batch Changes webinar, as I mentioned in one of the answers before. Also a clickable link to the Help Center. If the answer isn't there, then you do have the web chat service and also our fantastic technicians on the telephone ready to help you and guide you through any processing queries or technical issues that you may have. Up and coming webinars in December. So what's coming next? We've got corrections series going on, very popular series, all about correcting errors and mistakes that you may have encountered on a daily processing basis. With Abby, she's doing bank reconciliation and bank feeds. We've also got running a year end, which is another game, is very popular at this time of year. That's on Monday the 9th at 2 p.m. And then you've got myself doing corrections, bank transactions, focusing on the banking module and errors that can occur there. That's on Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We also have our free learning content in Sage University, perfect place for bite-sized video guides. Also links to webinars, gives you loads of clues on what's coming next, what's new in the new versions, i.e. 31 and Copilot, all the features that are coming out as well. I'll just double check the questions. We are on good time. Doesn't look like there's any further questions coming in, so hopefully that has been an informative and useful webinar for you today, and you've managed to take something away from it. If you could, please complete the survey for me. Give me any further advice on what you want to see in future sessions, always welcome. Other than that, though, I will end the session now and thank you all for your attendance, and I hope you have a lovely end of the week. Speak soon. Bye for now.